Hey everybody, um, my name is Danny, and this is my vlog, which is, of course, is an abbreviation for video vlog or video log, where I just video blog about almost anything, anything that's on my mind, what I'm up to, what what I'm up to on that particular day, that particular hour, that particular minute, just things that I'm up to, things that I want to talk about or whatever. So what's today? Today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, July 11th, 2017, 3:26 p.m. here. And so yeah, today I'm at Bowring Park in St. John's, Newfoundland. It's a public park. I guess I've heard that this park, Bowring Park, is the most popular public park in the St. John's area. It is. Boy, I got just distracted by two really beautiful labs, a chocolate lab and a black lab. I love Labradors, so I was just saying that Bowring Park is the most popular park in the St. John's area. It's got everything, and today it's quite busy. If you remember, last week I also did this vlog in Bowring Park. I decided for the first time to do it around sort of the pool area, that type of thing, and that's a very busy area. So today I decided to do something a little different. The first thing is I'm going to show you a little bit about. I'm going to show you a little bit of my surroundings, because I think it's very interesting that viewers can see more than just my face, right? If I'm outside and I went through the trouble of getting my butt all the way here to a nice park, I think that people would want to see a little bit, would like to see a little bit of it. So one of the reasons, right now I'm in the tennis court area. This is kind of my first time in this tennis court area, actually in it. I've sort of biked past it, and I've never really done more than just bike past it. It's funny because I used to play a lot of tennis, especially when I was younger. I used to, like in the summers, it was kind of my life. So I feel comfortable in the tennis environment. It's kind of funny because there's a few courts here and there's nobody here at all. And it's kind of weird because on different days in past years, there's at least been a few people playing, but for some reason nobody's playing. I think today is a really hot day here in St. John's. I think it peaked at around 26, I think maybe 26 Celsius. So that is very hot. So that might be one of the reasons why people are not playing tennis today. But it's a nice tennis court, and like I said, I feel comfortable around tennis courts. So this is sort of my world. Although I haven't played in a long time, but I'm just going to show you a little bit of my surroundings. So, oh yeah, I'm just going to time this so that I can make sure that I don't go over my time. Okay. So, this is, my camera's on like selfie mode, so I can't really see like what it's actually focusing on, but I'm gonna try my best to show you guys the tennis court. I'm gonna try to do like a 360 here. I'm gonna try to do like a 360. So yeah, it's just an ordinary tennis court, really, like nothing special. At least it's better than just pure like cement or whatever. It's okay for playing tennis, really. I guess they could probably redo it. I think it's a little. I think it's probably about time for the city to resurface these courts, I think. But show you guys a little bit more of the tennis courts. Yeah. So like I said, like nobody's here. Nobody's here. Yeah. Lots of people walking their dogs. I find that for some reason, just I think the reason why a lot of people like to take their dogs, it's not so much that this is like a park for dogs. I think it's more that people have to kind of like give their dogs some exercise, so it's just it's just very convenient. And there's a Dachshund and a boxer. A Dachshund and a boxer. Which is like, oh, there's a few people coming here to play tennis. Little family. And I'm just gonna show you guys a little bit because there's a nice little area here. There's a nice little area here. Yeah. My sister used to have a Dachshund. They're very cute, very cute. Yeah. Hey, boxer and a Dachshund. Yeah. People just walking their dogs. So there's a nice little, there's a little sign denotation, so I'm gonna bring you guys over and see what this says. So this says South Brock Trail, 1.4 kilometers. Caution walkways not maintained. Use at own risk. Trail not maintained. December 1 to April 30th. No ice control beyond this point. Dogs must be on a leash. Dogs must be on a leash. Call 311 for more information. City of St. John's. Yeah. And there's a nice little river here, or whatever you want to call it. I think it would be called the river. So nice and peaceful. Nice little bridge. Nice little bridge. And a nice peaceful river. I'm not sure if you could actually like do some fishing in here. I doubt it. But a nice little river. A nice little river. And on the other side, kind of similar, the bridge. And let's hope that I don't accidentally drop my camera into the river and end up being screwed. Nice little river. These things are so surrounding, so calming and relaxing. And again, my beautiful bicycle. My beautiful bicycle. I've had it for a little while now, but that's the thing about bikes or mountain bikes, is that their durability. It's all about the durability of bikes, right? And I've had mine for quite a few years, and there's been no issues with it. It's a K2, and I bought it knowing that it was a K2 because I'd never seen K2 bikes. I'd never seen K2 mountain bikes, but I'm very familiar with skiing, like downhill skiing, where K2 is a very notable downhill ski. K2 is a notable downhill ski, and their reputation is pretty much 100% perfect. So I knew that I was getting a good product. So now we're just going to go over back to the tennis courts where I can just finish off my vlog here. Yeah, a few people away on the other side playing tennis. Looks like a family, little kids. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, it's very hot in here. I definitely need to stay hydrated. It is. It's amazing when it's a very hot, kind of humid day how much you need water. But okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about is, I'm going to talk about different things. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was soccer, because I have a lot of soccer followers. So as a lot of you know, I organize soccer pickup games, and so we had our last game yesterday, and yesterday was Monday, and I usually would rather prefer and have been scheduling them on weekends, and the reason that I schedule them on weekends is because that's when most people are available, right? Because most people tend to work the typical Monday to Friday 9 to 5, and so on weekends people are just more available. So we need people. You need a certain amount of people to play for soccer games, right? The reason that I pushed it to a Monday was because there was another guy. I knew that there was another guy that was organizing kind of like a game for. He said that there was a on Sunday. There was a regatta in St. John's. Now, I'm not from St. John's, but I've always known that there was, I think it's called the St. John's Regatta, and that's always been here. And I guess this Monday Pond Regatta they haven't had it in like 60 years, and this is the first time they've had it in like 60 years. This is the first time they've had it in like 60 years. And so this guy that was organizing the soccer game was trying to somehow make it in association with the regatta, which is sort of strange. I don't really know that guy, so no disrespect to him at all. He seems like a nice guy anyways, but it just seems a little strange that you have a regatta, which is basically rowing, and here is someone trying to schedule in a soccer game in a regatta event. That's two different sports. It's the wrong sport, right? So it just doesn't really make sense to me. And I didn't know very much about that game. I had like asked him some questions, and he didn't really answer my questions. And so if I don't know about something, I'm not going to risk like wasting my time, like going all the way there for nothing and stuff. I just cannot waste my time and energy like that. So I didn't go. So anyways, he had that game on Sunday. So I figured a lot of people would be going to that game on Sunday. So I pushed it to Monday. I just want to talk about the game on Monday, which was yesterday. It was an amazing game. It was just amazing. First of all, the turnout was amazing. So we played. We played we played full field. We played full field, which means full field is 11 on 11, which is 22. But we had a few extra than 22, which is great because in our games there's always people who unfortunately go home early. So you kind of need a few more players to replace the people that go home early. And I was kind of glad because most of the people stayed for the whole game. Like we played like for around, I think we played for around 2 hours, right? And most people stayed for the full 2 hours. It's funny because when you're in these when you're in these parks and there's leaves and stuff and things that are flying around, sometimes things get into your mouth. So I think one of those things just got into my mouth. Hey, how's it going? So yeah. Yesterday's game, yeah, it was an amazing turnout, and the energy was just amazing. Like the stamina and the energy and the hustling was just full out for the full 2 hours, and also too, the skill level was very high, the tactical level was very high, and the anticipation and the competitiveness, the challengeness of it, and also the sportsmanship and the friendliness and the social part of it and that type of thing. So all of that was just great, and so yesterday was just a really good game. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was that regatta that took place, and I'm not trying to be critical or negative. I'm just trying to ask questions that I don't know about, because I'm not really from the St. John's area, so I don't know a lot about these things. But from what I know, in the few years that I've been here, like I said, there's always been that St. John's Regatta, which is basically rowing. I think there's like 6 or 8 people or whatever, and that is like a high point of the year or the summer, because it's 1 or 2 days. I think it's a weekend. No, actually, it's a weekday. I think it's a 2-day event, 1 or 2 day event. I think it's 2 days, and actually myself, I'm not really into that, because I'm not really into rowing. I don't really watch rowing. If anything at all, I would row, but I wouldn't just watch it. So I've never been at one of those, and I probably won't ever. And even the stuff outside of the rowing, it's mostly just for little kids, right? You have those little games and for the kids and stuff like that, and then you have, like hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff that's unhealthy that I probably shouldn't be eating or whatever, right? So but that's okay, because it's a cultural event for the St. John's area and Newfoundland. But to have like more than one in this city is too much. I think that there only needs to be one, and adding another one is too much, because you're just dispersing the interest. You're devaluing the cultural significance of it, and you're kind of dividing all of the interest, right, by making 2. So I don't really understand why they had to add in. I don't really know why they had to add in like another one. And there's certain things about that. It was called the Monday Pond Regatta, because it's a rowing race. The rowing race is done in money pawn. But there were certain things that I felt that really like baffled me, right? Like one of the things was I kind of like found out about the money pawn regatta through Facebook, and then I saw this like I saw this like I saw this Facebook event, and it was a Facebook event regarding the money pawn regatta, and it was like a drum circle, right? And the drum circle is basically done by the Aboriginal people, and I've done that quite a few times. I've seen that, and it's mostly just like people who just there's a certain group of people who do it, but then like if you're just walking by, if you want to participate, just like anything else, you just participate, right? Kind of like, I don't know, what would be a good example of that? Maybe like if there's a duck pond, right? There's a duck pond, and for people that are just walking by, you can just sit down and watch the ducks, right? There's no fee or anything like that. But this Facebook event for the drum circle, they were charging something like $7 per person just to participate in the drum circle. And if you were a family, they were charging something like 13 bucks. Like, that's crazy, right? That's ridiculous. Like, I don't really understand that. Like, to me, that runs as like money grab. And it was really funny because they were kind of promoting the event as like they were trying to promote the event as promote the event as something like, oh well, this is like the first money pawn regatta in 60 years. And so like on their like Facebook page, they posted this old picture of 60 years ago, and it had a picture of the race, and it was definitely an old picture, but the boats were similar to the ones of recent years, right? Of the recent St. John's Regatta, you know, like the long skinny type, which were sort of modern, right? And then like I saw pictures that people took of the actual regatta that happened on Sunday, and they were using like those really old boats, like fishing boats, right? So I'm really confused about that because I'm really confused about that because like 60 years ago was a long time, but the boats were similar, assuming that that picture was real, and it pretty much is a real picture, right? So by whoever is decided in 2017 to restart the first money pawn regatta in 60 years to use those old like fishing boats that were even more ancient than 60 years ago. Like, are they even going more backwards? So they're saying, oh well, this is the first one in 60 years, so it's so old. But then they're using these old fishing boats that are even older than 60 years, so they even go even more backwards, right? So I don't know, I'm really confused about that. What else? Let's talk about movies. So I need a drink again. So movies. So there was like when it comes to movies, it's like sometimes I'm kind of like a little picky about things, but I kind of saw this this trailer for a movie a few months ago, and the name of it, I've mentioned this before, it was called Get Out, right? And so it starred like Allison Williams and another guy who was African American. And I knew Allison Williams because she's like the daughter of Ron Williams, the famous MSNBC news anchor. And no one can deny that she is just very good looking. So one of the I mean, movies is a visual thing, right? So you're obviously going to hire people that are visually appealing. There's no denying that Alison Williams, is amazingly good looking. So that kind of sucked me into it. And so anyways, I knew that I wasn't really going to watch the movie on the big screen, which it did make it to the big screen here, but I was just going to watch it online later. And so I caved and watched it a few days ago. And it was really interesting. Well, I found it on the Google Play Store. I believe that's what it's called. And I only paid like $5 for it. So $5 was nothing. But it was just a really weird movie because like I really knew nothing about it, and so it was kind of like racially themed slash horror slash black horror sort of thing, and very old school. And I just want to give a spoiler alert first, but I do have to talk about it. So I found it interesting because it's kind of like when you see the trailers, you see this beautiful Alison Williams in a relationship with an African American guy, and so that doesn't really happen that often. And you know, in the trailer they're kissing and stuff, so that sort of intrigues you a little bit. And it was really interesting because like in the movie they're like going out, and then it happens that like she's part of like this like family cult where she kind of like brings, or that family sort of brings like young men into this sort of brainwashing cult, and then they brainwash them into being like slaves or sex slaves or something like that. But like the brainwashing process was really strange because they kind of like in one scene they made, I can't remember his name, but the African American actor, like they like chained him onto this seat, and they made him watch this like old school movie with this like 1950 TV, and it was almost a black and white sort of thing, this old school sort of thing, and they tried to brainwash him with this sort of stuff. It was crazy, but actually he finally got away, and it seemed like that he could have killed her, but I don't think that he did, which means they're trying to perhaps make a sequel to it. But yeah, it was interesting yet kind of weird and a little low budget. So I'm definitely glad that I did not pay a normal theater ticket for that. I would not like pay any more than $5. But yeah, sometimes like marketing and advertisements and stuff can really suck you in, right? What else? Music, what's going? Oh yeah, and I think I mentioned this before, but I wanted to talk about I also wanted to talk about the Spider-Man movie, because apparently this summer, all the movies have been really struggling for, I don't know why, right? So the new Transformers movie was really struggling domestically and internationally, and so forth. But this new Spider-Man movie, they call it Spider-Man Homecoming, is doing really well, both domestically, meaning in the US, Canada, and internationally, for some reason. It's weird because way back in like, I think it was 2003, when the first Spider-Man movie came out, that trilogy, it was big because it was the first movie that was ever made, and so anything new was big. And then I think they made either one or two more trilogies, and then the last trilogy they made first one, and then the second one was the one which was the villain was the Electro guy, and I guess the box office sales were so low they didn't even bother to finish the trilogy, right? They just killed it and rebooted it. And so this one here is marketed like as Homecoming, and I haven't really seen even the trailer, but just looking at the pictures, it's kind of like the Spider-Man suit is very old school suit, just nothing, no weapons, nothing, and he's got like this the Spider-Man logo, which is very, very old school, right? Like nothing fancy or anything. So it's very weird that you could sort of be old school and simple and still draw in such a crowd, right? But it's working anyways. So yeah. So what else is going on here? Movies. Sorry, music. Anything else in music? Music. Okay, I'll just talk about something I just thought about. Katy Perry. Yeah, it's kind of funny because, like, years ago, like, Katy Perry was so huge, right? And maybe that hugeness was a little, like, fake, right? Where people just sort of thought that she was really popular, but it was mostly, you know, just young girls, young teenage girls or whatever, who were kind of stocking the stadium. And then she disappeared for whatever reason. She had like this fight with another musician, and now she's reappearing, and she's sort of being completely transparent and telling people that she's been depressed and suicidal, and, you know, telling everybody about her whole personal life and stuff like that. And she's got this new album out, and stuff. And it's funny because when you read social media and stuff like that, and you're kind of like, most people are kind of like, are just sort of sick and tired of her. Like, where her maybe first album was okay, but people got sick of her after her second album. So it's funny because artists like that, who are pop artists, they just sort of just come and go, right? When they don't really have any real substantial, like, substance in their music, right? Where they're just all image and stuff like that, right? And those people just kind of struggle, right? So if you look at, you know, NSYNC, or, you know, stuff like that, or all those boy bands or stuff like that. So you know, so it's really kind of interesting. Yeah. So what else do I want to talk about? Yeah,
I'm hitting it a bit lower now, so.
the Omar Khadr thing. I don't know if I should really talk about that because that's very controversial. I don't know. Everyone has their opinion. I'm just gonna go for it. And remember, that's just my opinion. I'm not perfect. I could be right. I could be wrong. But it's just my opinion, right? And I'm just trying to fill up a little bit of this video to make things a little more interesting. Regarding the Omar Khadr thing, the government giving him like 10.5 million. Generally speaking, I'm sorry, I don't really agree with it. From what I know, and I probably should be reading into it a little more, but he did a lot of really bad stuff. Like, he was either directly or indirectly involved with killing that American medic, getting involved in like all that terrorist stuff, and even that in itself is a criminal act now, right? So for the government to just pay him 10.5 million like that,
Mom, man, it's not a game.
I don't know. I don't think that's right, and that's government money, which is taxpayer money. Although the next thing that's happened is that the medic who died, who apparently Omar Khadr either directly or indirectly killed, that American medic. So he died, and he has a wife, so the widow. So she's apparently like saying that her and her lawyer are going to go after that 10.5 million, right? So even though I don't really agree that the government should have paid him 10.5 million in taxpayer money, I don't really agree that, first of all, that she should be going after that money, because that money, which is taxpayer money, government money, definitely shouldn't be wasted. But if it was given at all, like, that was like through a long legal process, and there were many lawyers that were involved and stuff like that. So it's not like the government or Trudeau just gave him that money, right? It was very well like researched and stuff like that. But that money was directed to him, right? And so that money should not be rerouted or redirected into another place or another person, right? So although I have a lot of sympathy for the medic who died and his widow, I don't agree that that money should be redirected into any other place, including to her, right? I don't know if I'm explaining this right? Because that's not really the place that it was meant for, right? So there has to be a purpose, right, or focus. It's kind of like, I don't know if this is the best analogy, but like, if I was a father and I had a kid, and I told and let's say my kid was a teenager, and then I said, I want you to go and buy a baseball glove. And so I gave my son like $100 for a baseball glove, right? I wouldn't want him to go behind my back without my knowing, and going and, you know, using that $100 on booze, or even like something else other than baseball glove, right? Because that's not the purpose, right? I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but that's sort of the way that I look at it. Okay, what next?
Make this game really quick. This side's gonna burn. It's gonna be uneven.
What else is there that's going on in the news?
I didn't know this was gonna be that long of a warm-up.
I'm just gonna check to see how much longer I have on my camera.
I'll just keep giving it to your forehand. Or my forehand. I burn my eye.
Okay, well, I think I don't want this camera to run out on me abruptly, because it would be really rude to just have the camera stop without me saying goodbye and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoy this vlog. I am getting better and better at it. These are like practice, so practice makes perfect, and the more I do of them, the better that I'll get. Yeah. So I wanted to mention either yeah, so I'm just going to wrap this up and say thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and peace out.